He never carried a gun. He never ordered a hit. But Alan Dorfman was one of the most dangerous men in American history, not because he killed people, but because he financed the people who did. He didn't run with gangsters. He ran the books, and those books gave the Mafia access to hundreds of millions of dollars. The Teamsters pension fund wasn't just a financial institution, it was a mob-controlled war chest. And Dorfman was the man holding the pen. This is the story of how a quiet businessman became the mob's banker, and how the FBI took him down. When Alan Dorfman returned from World War II, he wasn't the man he would become. He was a decorated Marine, a patriot, someone looking for a decent job. But what he found was disappointment. He scraped by as a sports coach and women's self-defense instructor, barely making $4,000 a year. He wanted more. He wanted power, respect, and most of all, money. His breakthrough came not from hard work, but from blood. His stepfather, Paul "Red" Dorfman, was an old-school Chicago mobster deeply embedded in the Teamsters Union. Through Red's influence, Alan landed a job running the Teamsters insurance business, despite having zero financial or insurance experience. He didn't even have an office, but none of that mattered. In the world he was entering, loyalty mattered more than qualifications. By the early 1950s, the Teamsters had over 1.2 million members. A strike could shut down the entire nation, and one man wanted to control it all, Jimmy Hoffa. Red Dorfman backed Hoffa's rise, and in return, secured power and position for Alan. Overnight, Dorfman became the man who controlled insurance for thousands of workers. His agency was paid premiums for every union man, and those premiums were inflated, padded, and redirected. Alan quickly began living like a king. Expensive cars, camel hair coats, fine dining, and a luxurious home in Lincolnwood. The union business was good, but the pension fund, that was where the real money lived. Unlike other retirement funds that diversified their investments, the Teamsters Central States Pension Fund became a slush fund for the mob. Millions of workers paid into it every month. Alan Dorfman and Jimmy Hoffa poured that money into Mafia-controlled casino construction in Las Vegas. The Stardust, Fremont, Desert Inn, all funded through loans, with no collateral and no intention of repayment. Between kickbacks and hidden ownership stakes, Dorfman and Hoffa personally profited from every transaction. Up to 10% of every loan was skimmed off the top. For them, it was the perfect system. The mob got funding, Dorfman got rich, and the workers, they were just paying to build the mob's empire, brick by brick. Eventually, the feds caught up. Hoffa was convicted in 1962, not for mob ties or pension theft, but for something more old school, jury tampering. It wasn't the sentence that mattered. It was the vacuum he left behind. Before going to prison, Hoffa handed the pension fund keys to Dorfman. "He speaks for me on all fund matters," Hoffa said. That one sentence made Alan Dorfman one of the most powerful men in America. But with great money came great paranoia. The Chicago outfit didn't fully trust him, so they placed an overseer by his side, Joey the Clown Lombardo. Lombardo wasn't just a mobster, he was a killer, and he showed up at Dorfman's office almost daily, making sure the money flowed exactly where the outfit wanted it. In 1979, the FBI made a bold move. They launched Operation Pendorf, a vast electronic surveillance campaign targeting Dorfman's every word. They rented offices nearby and tapped over 15 phone lines. Within days, they struck gold. Dorfman was caught on tape brokering a $90 million casino deal for the mob. Then came talk of bribing Senator Howard Cannon to delay trucking deregulation. And then, a casual conversation about possibly murdering the Teamsters' new president. The surveillance was so effective, the FBI later planted hidden microphones in Dorfman's office. What they captured wasn't just evidence, It was arrogance, profanity-laced tirades, explicit bribe discussions, even mob threats. On tape, the man who sounded like a Wall Street banker on the phone became a mob soldier behind closed doors. With hundreds of hours of audio and over 1,000 documented conversations, the FBI built an ironclad case. Dorfman was indicted for conspiracy to bribe a U.S. senator and defraud the pension fund. In 1982, he was found guilty. Sentencing was scheduled for early 1983, but the conviction came with consequences. Facing 55 years in prison, Dorfman had two options: do the time or talk. And the mob knew it. This wasn't just about saving one man. If Dorfman flipped, he could expose an entire web: Chicago, Kansas City, Las Vegas, and beyond. He knew the dirty money trails, the loan sharks in suits, the politicians on payrolls, and that knowledge made him the most dangerous man in the world. To the mob doesn't gamble. On January 20th, 1983, Alan Dorfman met an old associate for lunch at the Hyatt Hotel in Lincolnwood. When he stepped into the parking lot, he didn't make it to his car. A single gunshot to the head. Professional, silent, efficient. The banker who built the mob's empire was silenced forever. He never got to cut a deal. He never testified. And the secrets he held, names, locations, paper trails, all died with him. No one claimed the hit, but everyone knew why it happened. The Mafia had lost its greatest asset, but it couldn't risk losing everything else. No one ever replaced Alan Dorfman, not because they didn't try, but because no one else could be trusted the same way. His death severed the Mafia's financial lifeline. The Teamsters pension fund would never again be their playground. Operation Pendorf, meanwhile, revolutionized federal investigations. Bugs, wiretaps, hidden surveillance, all became standard tools in organized crime takedowns. The mob, once able to silence witnesses, now found themselves undone by their own words on tape. The government had learned how to listen, and the Mafia never fully recovered. Alan Dorfman may not have been a killer, but in the world of organized crime, he was the most dangerous kind of criminal, smart, connected, and essential. He built an empire with nothing but a signature, and when that pen stopped moving, the empire began to fall.